touched on it with what I gave everyone here, but I also, so aside from helping the outreach coordinator and youth empowerment coordinator coordinate field trips and also identify sites that would be beneficial for high school students to do that, I have training in counseling as an ATC, so I'd be really interested in sitting in on practicums with CORE to see how you're developing your relationship with your students in terms of the counseling component, because it's a beautiful thing, right? So I think there's just a lot of experience. I also have a lot of materials that I could share with you from OASIS, the LGBT Resource Center, with different ways you could approach things with high school students, because I think it's kind of hard to use the language that we use at the university with high school students. Whether you're talking to them about their personal lives, talking to them about how they can get to college, or doing a workshop with them. I think it's important that when CORE starts developing like the sort of programs and workshops and counseling sessions that they'll have with the high school students, that we understand how we could really like vibe with them. So I'm down to have that conversation. I also think that a real big reason why I want to run for Vice Chair External is to connect with more with the San Diego community. I know that there will always be FCC and SC PASA, but I feel like like KP has been lacking a relationship with the people of San Diego. So I think as Vice Chair External, what I really want to do is figure out what's happening in the students' communities, what they're struggling with, what they're experiencing at school, in their town, and that's something we could dialogue about in CORE to see and address what the students need. Because I think that's important to identify what the students need, dialogue about how we could provide resources for them, but also connect with nonprofit orgs in San Diego that could also aid them in whatever they need. So I think that's ways I would expand my relationship with KP CORE. In terms of letting the general body of KP and also the greater community know about CORE, I mean, there's the usual stuff like publicity and stuff, but like, what does that really look like? I think as a board member, it'd be really important to talk about access and retention, and not just like sort of mention it, but like really talk about it, since we do have a partnership with Morse, probably talking with KP board and also the general body about Morse, why we chose Morse, like just letting them know about why we're doing what we're doing and why CORE exists. Because I mean, I know people know CORE exists, but do they know why and why it's important? So that's one way to, and I think also another way, hold on, sorry. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. And then I guess for the greater community, because our specific site is Morse, but I also think that it's important for other students in San Diego to know about the resources that we give and also the other resources that are out there. So I think, shoot, I'm weird right now. The greater community. I think just really connecting with the nonprofit orgs, like as Vice Chair External, by connecting with other nonprofit orgs in San Diego and centers in San Diego, and letting them know about what CORE is up to, then we could build sort of like a relationship with them and see how we could support each other. I would really want to talk to board about Makasama and its purpose and the principles that we as KP have, because aside from having people gather and creating this venue for like music and art, what else is it doing for us in the community? And so I think a lot of the things I want to do is figure out what we as Filipino students need on this campus and connect with the San Diego community. I think there's a lot of different things that KP could be doing, such as like, I don't know, just going out to events in San Diego related to social justice or political issues. Shit, I don't know what I'm saying. But basically, I think a lot could happen aside from planning Makasama. I think it's really important that External does connect with nonprofit orgs in San Diego that are related to supporting and advocating for Filipino and Filipino communities. And there's a lot that could happen with that, like workshops. I know another thing that's also important is, okay, like, say we connect with these nonprofit orgs, what I would learn if I was external by connecting with them, relay that information here, or relay the information of what are the issues in the community here, to KP board and to the GBMers. And I think that would look more like a year-long thing in terms of identifying what the issues are in the community and how GBMers and KP board members could feel empowered to be part of that effort to create change in terms of those things. And I think that's really important because I know that organizations like KMB are waiting for Filipino youth in college to interact with them so that they can create change. Yeah. I don't know if that answered your question.
In short, can you rephrase your question? Or like, I just had to adjust for your question again.
Like if you didn't have, let's say you didn't have Makasama, but you didn't have this kind of events-focused kind of programming that KP traditionally has, what would you imagine, maybe like an idea or two, that, like, what would you do in the office of external in that case, right? Because Makasama is kind of set up for you to automatically outreach to the community, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, so if, so I guess the external, or vice chair external, I guess it really encompasses just, or not just, but it really encompasses networking with outside organizations and whatnot. However, I don't necessarily feel that we need to go out. I think we've already created, or we've already started something, and it took so long for us to even spike it up and like make it something where it's even presentable to GBMers. And like I think taking away from that by like continuously opening new doors might take away from that, and like it'll probably all that hard work that was done previously, like it's gonna, I guess we're gonna start backtracking again. And so like until that coalition or that alliance is fully established, fully like well offset off the ground, like I personally wouldn't feel comfortable in really like immersing KP or even just me as vice chair external into like these different nonprofit organizations. I know like we could use their assistance here, like if they want to like throw workshops or whatever, or like teach-ins. I mean, like I'm more than willing to go out to them and help them, or like have them, give them like the resource or the access to come here to like give us information. But in terms of actually building like a new alliance with them or really building on that relationship, I personally would probably be a little bit hesitant in doing so. But yeah, I don't know that. Hopefully that gets the